everybody. Hi, friends. Welcome back. This is Dana coming at you live from Philadelphia on behalf of the Karen Cares channel. I would appreciate it if you could give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you're interested in Philadelphia, how national and local politics affects us and our children, and the politics of the day. Particularly today, we're going to be digging into a book called Profiles in Corruption by Peter Schweitzer. Pardon me. He also wrote Clinton Cash, best-selling Times author of Clinton Cash. I did link the book down below. I believe the link is to Goodreads. Of course, you can buy it on all of the major sites, but why support multi-billionaires who have only gotten richer while we have gotten poorer to buy this book? Also, libraries. My husband actually found this in a used book bin, so it was only a couple dollars. And so, yay. Today, in honor of Women's History Month, we are going to look into the history of our lovely Vice President Kamala Harris. I did dig in a little bit, wanted to bring you up to speed, what part I'm at on the book and what my thoughts are so far on how that's affecting us now and what it means for us in the future. A lot of people refer to President Biden and this term as Obama 3.0. And I can't help but agree with that. Seeing as how he did go ahead and just bomb Syria right away. I mean, that's a total Obama thing to do. Here, we can't get you any relief, but we're going to bomb this country. How much did that cost? How much were those bombs worth? It was like that one newscast, the one guy said, you know, he's dropping a lot of bombs for a dude that owes me $2,000. Hell yeah, buddy. Straight on. You're right. But what I wanted to get to today is to do a little bit. I got up to the part where Kamala Harris has met Willie Brown, which would be, for anybody who would like to follow along and has the book, it is page 16 of the book. Me personally, I really prefer to have like a book in hand. I like the paper. Maybe I'm just old school. I am almost 40, you know. It is, in addition to being Women's History Month, it's also my birthday month. So, but I wanted to, I know this part with Willie Brown gets a little bit spicy. So I wanted to see what happened here and maybe share it all with you. See if you had, I'm not sure if you've read this before. If you have, then that would be, this might be a refresher for you. But if you don't know a lot about the history of Kamala Harris, I can bring you up to speed from what I've learned so far. Kamala Harris is, of course, the, and I believe a second generation American. Her mother is from India. She might be first. She's first. Her mother is from India. Her father is from Jamaica. She is, of course, our first person of color in the executive office in either president or vice presidential role. And then, as soon as you know, as soon as you know who kicks the you know what, she's going to be our first president. Our first female president, more than likely, which is why I wanted to get up to speed with her history. Now, the most important thing I think is to know her history with Barack Obama goes back far and is actually pretty deep. So she was a district attorney of San Francisco, and he had just been elected to the Senate back in 2004. He went out and held a fundraiser for her after he was elected. So she helped him get elected, and he's going to help, or he helped her. Yes, this is okay. So he got elected to the Senate. He's helping her now in 2004. And then back when Obama runs for his first term, a lot of Kamala Harris's immediate family, I think her sister and brother-in-law became involved in the Obama campaign. So all that to say that her history with him and with the fundraising, with all of that, it goes back years and years. And what we can say about politicians that have been around for that long and have reached the upper echelons of politics, we just know there's nothing good going on, right? I mean, we just know that there's not, there are not any, there's plenty of shenanigans going on there. We all know it, okay? So here we go. We're going to get into Kamala Harris meeting Willie Brown. So Kamala Harris actually attends Howard University, which is traditionally a Black college, which of course she was accepted to because she is a person of color, and law school. She becomes district attorney. Now she meets Willie Brown in 1994. At the time, he was, it says, the second most powerful man in California politics. As Speaker of the Assembly, Brown was a legend in Sacramento, around the state, represented district, well-known in San Francisco social circles. Brown ran a legal practice on the side, which meant taking fees from lobbyists and industries that may have wanted favorable treatment in Sacramento. That is a diplomatic sentence. Lobbyists and industries that may have wanted favorable treatment in Sacramento. Yeah, that's it. Now, despite a lifetime, see, this is another thing. Despite a lifetime in politics and public service, Brown was known for his expensive, I don't even know how to pronounce this stuff. Like, these are designers I don't even know how to say. Because here I am, like, I think I'm hot shit because I spent $20 on a t-shirt because it says, make Orwell fiction again. And like, that's, yeah. Basically. And I mean, he's in public service, right? So should you be becoming filthy rich in public service? That to me screams that there's some impropriety somewhere along the way. Oh, God. Anyway, so I guess he was known for flaunting his money, his Borsellino hats, Ferraris, Porsche's Brioni suits. He later downgraded to a Jaguar. Oh my God, you are so cute. Thank you, baby. So my cutest little baby, look, she just brought me a sandwich on gluten-free toast and water. Isn't she a doll? Thank you, baby. I would kiss you, but I don't want to get lipstick on you. Mwah. Can I give you a big hug instead? Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to enjoy this. Thank you. You're such a doll face. I spilled something earlier, so I had to.
Well, here's extra napkins.
Yeah, thanks. I probably need them too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Can you close that door on the way out? Yeah. You know, I'm momming. I'm adulting. I'm streaming. I'm trying to do things. I'm trying to wake people up. How corrupt these people are. Willie Brown was married in 1958 and remains so today. So this book, I did check. This book was written in 2020. So I really didn't do any kind of research about if he is still alive today. 2020 has taken a lot of people by surprise. And so I don't know what's going on. He might have gotten the pew, pew, and kicked the bucket like old Hank Aaron did. Willie Brown was married. Brown was 60 at the time he begun dating Kamala, who was 29. And so I try to take myself back to the time. I didn't make great decisions when I was 29, but I can't. What? Okay. Aren't the balls wrinkly though? Like, you're like a young woman. You could really have it going on. You could be dating some guy, but you're not. Instead, this is what you're doing. Here we go. Wherever you go, there you are. All right. Next, we are going to love you. Okay. Brown was actually 2 years older than her father. Oh, no. Okay, I'm trying to think of somebody at my dad. No, that's not happening to me. Okay. Their affair was the talk of San Francisco in 1994. We know that. What I didn't know was that Kamala's mother defends her daughter's decision, I guess, to date Brown, and offered choice comments about Brown. So here's a quote. Quote, "Why shouldn't she have gone out with Willie Brown? He was a player. And what could Willie Brown expect from her in the future? He has not much life left." I don't know if she said it like that, but that's how I read it. Brown began pulling levers for Harris that both boosted her career and put money in her pocket, rewarding Kamala with appointments to state commissions that paid handsomely and did not require confirmation by the legislature. And this is the problem in local politics. And this is why it's important to follow your local politics, because these appointments to different commissions that don't require confirmation or any kind of a process or any kind of like an application testing anything, interview. It's just appointments. And this happens all over the city of Philadelphia within all of the different municipal departments. It's such a waste. And, it's usually some egghead that's never had a real job, just came out of college. It's the son or daughter of somebody so-and-so knows. It's like such a damn joke. Oh, yeah, see, this is obviously going to get me mad today. Sometimes I'm fun when I'm mad. He put Kamala on the State Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and later the California Medical Assistance Commission. So that's interesting as we march ever ahead towards the New World Order. This idea of the universal basic income, a universal health care. So it's interesting that she was on the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and the Medical Assistance Commission. I find those things to be interesting. We are on page 17 now. He put Kamala, paid $99,000 a year in 2002. So I guess, $100,000 a year in 2002 was pretty good. And her husband, don't forget, works for Merck. So they're not struggling. Okay. Along the way, Brown also bought young Kamala a new BMW. I mean, maybe the wrinkly balls would be worth it. I don't know. The BMWs, they last, right? They can't last longer in the memory of that. So that's no. Perhaps the most important thing Brown gave Harris was access to his vast network of political supporters, donors, and sponsors. Soon, she was publicly arm in arm with Brown in the most elite circles of San Francisco, including lavish parties and celebrity galas. By 1995, Willie Brown was running for mayor of San Francisco, and Harris was regularly by his side. Ooh, baby. No, that's right. On election night, he was all smiles as election results rolled in. Harris was in front of the crowd with him smiling and handed him a blue baseball cap emblazoned with "Da Mayor," D-A, Mayor. Brown placed the cap on his head, and then Reverend Cecil Williams, a local fixture and longtime Brown friend, handed him a piece of paper. "It's over," he proclaimed. The election wasn't the only thing that was over that night. Many had speculated that Brown would divorce his wife and marry Harris, but that didn't happen. Shortly after Brown's, okay. So then at 2002, she's making $100,000 a year, but she's not married yet. So to be fair, I did say she was not. Don't fact check me. I know I screwed up and I'm dialing it back. It's live. What can I do? We all make mistakes. So it looks like, she's dating him and maybe there was some genuine attraction there. Maybe she has daddy issues and maybe, I don't know, shit. Anyway, that's what she decided to do. It sounds like it got her pretty far up in local politics and then into state politics. And then that's really where you kind of get groomed for these more elite executive style positions. Now, my belief is that she would have been chosen as either VP or president. Probably president had Tulsi Gabbard not kind of made her super unpopular right after that first debate. But nonetheless, as vice president now, and with the dimensional clown we currently have supposedly running things. I mean, I would love to know who's behind earpiece and really running things, but probably Kamala. I mean, I don't know. Willie Brown, maybe his wrinkly balls are there. Who knows? He's hiding out somewhere. I'm going to move ahead here a little bit. One of the biggest complaints, and I actually haven't read this far. I do need to go back and read in between. I just happened to open it, and the book fell to this page. So this would be it. In honor of Women's History Month, I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of a trigger warning here. I know that sometimes that's used as a joke, but I mean it seriously. I am going to talk about some difficult topics here, definitely some adult topics, definitely things you don't want children hearing or reading. So if they're in the room, you might want to pop in a set of headphones for me. I'm going to make sure the store is closed for the 5th time. I'm pretty sure I closed it already 100 times, but there we go. Oh, she's so sweet. I'm sure my kitchen's a mess from whatever she made. She's such a doll. Okay. I don't know if you're all aware of this. So she is the district attorney. And so she obviously wields a considerable amount of influence. She has met Willie Brown. She has become a known name. She is definitely attaching herself to Obama's coattails as time goes on. And so we're going to jump into, I wish I could find something that was like, okay. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about child sex abuse claims within the church, within the Catholic Church, and campaign donations. And how would those two things be connected? I mean, you would think that childhood sexual abuse and campaign donations couldn't have any relation. Perhaps the deepest and most troubling mystery of Kamala Harris's tenure as prosecutor centers on the disturbing issue of sexual abuse of children by priests. Harris often recounts her background as a sex crimes prosecutor earlier in her career to attack others for their legal failings in this area. In July 2012, for example, she rightly criticized the lax penalties that the pedophile Jeffrey Epstein faced in his plea agreement with prosecutors. Harris attacked the prosecutor in that case, Alex Acosta, who is now labor secretary in the Trump administration, for, quote, protecting predators. Harris even went after the law firm that represented Epstein in those criminal proceedings, arguing that representation of him calls into question the integrity of the entire legal system. Critics noted that she gladly took campaign donations from the same firm. So she's a trip, right? We know she's a trip. But Harris's handling of the widespread priest abuse scandal in San Francisco and later in the entire state of California raises far more questions. During her decade-and-a-half tenure as chief prosecutor, Harris would fail to prosecute a single case of priest sex abuse, and her office would strangely hide vital records on abuses that had occurred despite the protests of victims groups. Harris's predecessor as San Francisco District Attorney, Terrence Hallinan, was aware of and had prosecuted numerous Catholic priests on sexual misconduct involving children, and he had been gathering case files for even more. In the spring of 2002, Pope John Paul II convened a meeting in Rome to discuss how to deal with the widespreading news of abuse. By 2003, with a rising national tide of complaints, the scandals would soon reach cities and towns across America. Now, okay, so I went to Catholic school. I went through 12 years of Catholic school, and it was known which priests were a little weird, and my parents always kind of made me aware of the fact that was possible. So, unfortunately, these priests tend to prey on kids that don't have dads or that are in difficult situations. They kind of know how to pick and choose their victims and then how to silence their victims. And it's really I think it's just about the cruelest thing you can do to a kid, short of just killing them outright. You've literally strangled their spirit. One's sexuality is a integral part of who they are. So when you take it upon yourself to destroy that part of somebody, you have stunted growth in that area. And sometimes it is damaged in a way that can never be brought back to what it could have been. And so childhood sexual abuse, that these priests that were abusing kids that didn't have dads, that had drug addicted parents, who were poor, who whatever, within the orphanages and within the charities. We know that this is going on. Okay, so by 2002, with the rising tide of national tide of complaints, let's get the book in the frame here. Do you care if the book's in the frame? Probably not. The Boston Globe produced a Pulitzer Prize-winning series on priest abuse and efforts to cover it up. The scandal had now most definitely engulfed San Francisco. Hallihan's office had launched an investigation and quickly discovered that the San Francisco Archdiocese had extensive internal records regarding complaints going back some 75 years. 75 years. How many kids can you abuse in 75 years? Right? Nice. In spring of 2002, Hallinan demanded the church turn them over to his office. A month later, the archdiocese reluctantly complied. The secret documents were explosive and reportedly contained the names of about 40 current and former priests in the San Francisco area who have been identified in sexual abuse complaints. Hallinan used the information from the files to begin pursuing legal cases against them. In nearby San Mateo and Marin County, prosecutors obtained the same church records, and those in Marin charged Father Gregory Ingalls in 2003. But by June 2003, Hallinan and other prosecutors had hit a roadblock. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that California's law extending the statute of limitations for pre-sexual abuse cases was unconstitutional. Nevertheless, Hallinan was determined to pursue the cases. Discussions began among California's district attorneys about how diocese abuse documents might be released to the public. Victim advocates were in favor of releasing them, arguing that redacting the names of victims and other sensitive information to protect their privacy. Hallinan's aggressive pursuit of these issues was of major concern to the Catholic Church. I bet. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Hallinan's investigation threatened to bring dozens of additional cases to light. So we know that there's priests and former priests here, that he has this, that he has these records. According to San Francisco election financial disclosures, high dollar donations to Harris's campaign began to roll in from those connected to the Catholic Church institutional hierarchy. Harris had no particular ties to the Catholic Church. Oh, right. Okay. So then that was the other thing. And not that her faith matters, but it does become an issue when we're talking about presidents. We have questioned other presidents' faith. So this is, something where we're not going to be allowed to question it because she's a person of color. Which I just, anyway, so she follows more the traditional beliefs of her mother's homeland of India. So she's not really connected. She's not Catholic. She doesn't go to Catholic church. Why is she getting these big time donations now all of a sudden? That's a little hanky, ain't it? Harris had no particular ties to the Catholic Church or Catholic organizations, but the money still came in large, unprecedented sums. Lawyer Joseph Rusiniello represented the church on a wide variety of issues, including the handling of the church abuse scandal. Blah, 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 blah. Harris had ties to this, was working to prevent the documents from coming to light. Yeah, I bet. When it came to the pre-sex abuse scandal, the opposite was true. Hallinan loses to Kamala Harris. Dun, dun, dun. What happens now? Hallinan's loss to Harris changed more than nameplate down at San Francisco District Attorney's Office. With the changing of the guard, the fate of the investigation into the Catholic priest abuse would dramatically change, and not for the better. Harris, who had been a sexual crimes prosecutor early in her career, moved in the opposite direction of Hallinan and worked to cover up the records. Hallinan's office had used the Archdiocese files to guide its investigation and talk publicly about releasing the documents after removing the victims' names. Harris, on the other hand, abruptly decided to bury the records. For some reason, she did not want the documents released in any form. Harris's office claimed that the cover-up was about protecting the victims. District Attorney Harris, quote, District Attorney Harris focuses her efforts on putting child molesters in prison, end quote, her office claimed. Begin quote again. We're not interested in selling out our victims to look in the paper. So she's trying to say that redacting the information of the victims wouldn't be enough to protect them. But the truth is that she didn't only win because of the money she got from the Catholic Church. She won because of Willie Smith's wrinkly balls, her riding his coattails, and then leaving his wrinkly ass to his wife, who's apparently still with, because I guess she'll put up with anything. I mean, them two are traipsing around town, and she's like, home, I guess? I don't know. Damn, man, people got some nerve. So anyway, I already don't like this lady. I mean, I wasn't a big fan. She is married now to someone who sits on one of the executive boards for a pharmaceutical company. I mean, come on, it's just too much. It's just too much. Some of the biggest donors to both Republicans and Democrats are pharmaceutical companies. And so it's quite likely that we're going to see both Republicans and Democrats praising these companies. Oh, the vaccine. Yes, it's so wonderful. Oh, thank God. The vaccine's going to save us. It's going to set us free. We can go back to things as usual. What? Okay. No. You don't let us go back to things as usual. We just do things as usual. It's time to walk into the stores, pull the mask up, and then when you get in, take it off. And somebody says they got to put a mask on, you put it on. And then take it off. The more people see a fresh face out there smiling back at them, which I make sure to do real big, then other people are going to feel empowered to take their mask off. I've seen it. Yeah, why are we wearing a stupid thing? You'll be walking around the store, and they see your fresh face, and they go, "Oh man, it's so good to see your face. What am I even wearing this thing for?" I mean, this is an actual live dramatization of what really happened. I have had mad conversations with people over this shirt. Make Orwell fiction again. Back when it was election time, I like to wear this shirt a lot. And the reason is a lot of people would give it like a first glance and obviously thought it said, Make America Great Again. But then they would read it. So they'd be like, and that would be the way they'd look at my shirt. And then I'd be like, you like it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I read that. Yeah, 1984. Right. Yes. Big Brother is always watching you. I mean, you're watching me. Big Brother's watching me too. But I'm going to sit here and I think I'm going to eat my vegetable sandwich. I kind of read as much of that book as I can. An update as far as distance learning. I know there was a board meeting Tuesday night. I was going to sign up for it, but my husband was working late again to try to get our house ready, to try to get our kitchen fixed back up. It is a long and arduous process, and I know he's working as hard as he can. So Tuesday night was just a little bit busy for us. I am going to be checking in with the school's website to see what their plans are. They did have to shut down this week because they had, I believe, a teacher come down with COVID and also a student that was confirmed with a case of COVID. So everybody was shifted to distance learning this week. It kind of, to me, it just affirms the decision that I made that I am going to keep them distance learning for now until things do return to normal, if that happens. If not, I have been picking up books and will be getting some kind of a loose plan together for a curriculum for Grace for next year. I don't know whether to repeat a second grade curriculum with her because I really don't feel like I feel like they are testing the kids, but like the tests are super simple. They're not challenging enough. I don't think that she's really absorbing it. They're just kind of like pushing these kids along and giving them like the easiest of all the tests. I'm not excited about a good grade if it's something you can get, you have to like try. So I might go through the second grade curriculum again with her, but really like do a little bit more extensive repetition and work, and then try to get into third grade in terms of math. That's really the only thing I'm worried about keeping her ahead on is her math skills. So, if you have any recommendations, I know I have a really good friend who I love dearly. She uses The Good and the Beautiful because she has children of many age ranges. Now, I only have 3. She has 5. I don't know if the youngest is like technically doing it, but anyway, she has 5 kids that are going to be in school at once. So she needs something that's going to accommodate 5 different grade levels. Now for next year, even if things stay like this, my oldest 2 want to stay in their charter, and they would just do the hybrid or distance learning. But my youngest girl does not want to stay if it's like that. So her and I would probably do some kind of a homeschool option here. And I am actually really excited about having the opportunity to spend that time and to pour that information and love into her. Into her soul and not just that, but like, I have plans for practical skills that we're going to work on. So obviously we have math, with the curriculums, math, science, English, literature, spelling and grammar. It's all kind of tied into that, ELA piece. So we need like the ELA, we need the math, science and social studies, or science and probably what I would go with is civics and science. And then, in terms of like a technology or a computer class, I want to have her begin typing classes. And then we would probably continue with the little bit of Spanish that she already knows and do some kind of an online Spanish program. I myself took 4 years of Spanish in college and then was the unofficial translator in every restaurant I worked at for the following 5 years. And I really enjoyed the time that I spent talking to my friends and learning about their homeland, learning about where they come from. I really learned a lot about Guatemala because there were a couple guys there from Guatemala. And so they just told us about their hometown, and they would, like at the Christmas party, all the dishwashers sat together. There were only like 1 or 2 people that like could sit with them. And like they invited me to sit, and they showed me pictures of like their wife back home, or, you know what I mean? Like it's showing pictures around, and it was just really sweet. So, my daughter is a little, what do I need to learn Spanish for? But to me, I think especially as we move towards like more multicultural society with Spanish being such a prominent language, I think it makes a lot of sense to continue with that, especially at such a young age. She can learn really easily through songs, through repetition, and then through real world encounters that we can get involved in. Because I know there are churches, there is a Spanish speaking service at the church that we go to. So I know there's opportunities there for like full immersion for us once she gets to a more advanced state. And I mean, I'm just looking forward to all of the practical things that I can teach her as a homeschooling mom that she's never going to get in school. And it's not the fault of the teacher. I'm not mad at the teachers. In fact, I gotta say the teacher that we probably have had the biggest issue with has just been amazing the last month and a half or so. She has just, it seems like she's really back in her element in terms of like being back in the classroom, or maybe she just has a better handle on the use of technology. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but she's just been great. And so my 2nd grader has still cries about not wanting to go to school, still asked me if, I don't know if you saw that, but I spit. It was like, Pichu! It landed here on my vegetable sandwich. Yo, look at the sandwich though. This is gluten-free bread, which tastes like fucking cardboard. And then this is full of vegetables. That's romaine lettuce, which I do love. Peppers, carrots. Now what I want to do is go downstairs and make them bacon. I'm going to make them bacon, and I'm going to put bacon on this. I'm going to retoast the bread. I'm going to make a bacon sandwich because I like bacon. But anyway, celery. She knows I love celery, and I would totally want to eat this right now, but I don't want to like crunch right into the microphone. So we're going to learn Spanish. I am looking for a good math curriculum, something good for like a 2nd, 3rd grader. I also know that I live in a state where I can make up my own curriculum if that's what I decide to do. I'm not quite there yet where I'm confident there. I know we have time though. I also did a little bit of thinking, the whole Meghan Markle thing. And I really just wanted to touch on it because it seemed like a lot of my woke friends were like very, very serious about it. And of course, it's I have some wonderful friends on Facebook who couldn't be further opposite me politically and socially, because I think we have to define our political leanings and then also like our social leanings, because unfortunately like those 2 areas have gotten meshed into one. But for folks that are more in the middle, more libertarian, sometimes those are 2 like really distinct groups that we have to work with. So, I have some great friends on Facebook, and we kind of like each other's photos when it's like kid stuff or happy birthday or whatever. And then we just kind of scroll on past when it's something we don't agree with. We're not going to actively get into an argument with somebody that we otherwise have a good relationship with, because when we go ahead and see that person in real life, if you're having this goofy online argument, like it's super weird. How do you even handle that? I don't want to be a part of that. I really don't. So I'm thankful for those friends. But there are some people that are so insufferable that it makes my head hurt. And I scroll on by. I try to scroll on by anyway. I got bounced into something. People that want to be offended will be offended by anything. They will take what you say and they will distort it beyond recognition. And so, Meghan Markle's claims about racism within the royal family, I 100% believe her. I 100% believe her that the royal bloodline that has been an inbred, cousin banging, it's anyway, there's a lot of interbreeding. Okay. They're not the best looking folks. I don't think that it is unreasonable to think that somebody would at some point mention the way that the baby would look, much in the way that people mention the way babies will look for anybody. Now, if my husband was black and let's say my husband was black and we are at his family's gathering and we are talking about my baby because I'm pregnant. And my husband's not black, for what it's worth. It's just not. So anyway, but I'm with my black husband over here, and I'm pregnant. I'm having a baby. I think there would be a discussion about the baby's skin color, just because it can be such a variation of skin color, even within the same couple that has children. Sometimes they all have a similar-ish skin color. Sometimes they have vastly different skin colors. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that came up. That, to me, doesn't necessarily speak of racism, but I absolutely believe that racism is there. I just don't think that's like the best example one could give. I'm sure there's more that she wasn't allowed to say, because believe it or not, that whole interview, if you think the Crown didn't approve of that, come on, man. They're all about generating drama. It sells this bullshit mainstream narrative that these people are somehow important. So you spend all of your time following them, looking up news stories, getting in all-night arguments about whether they're racist or not. To what end? You're ignoring the real problem. We are almost a full year in to the lockdowns, 2 weeks to slow the spread. We are almost a full calendar year into that. And it is time for the people to start getting pissed, to start taking the masks off, to start taking their signs down. Pick those fucking stickers up off the floor, 6 feet apart. I don't need a sticker to stop. I can stand far apart. Quite frankly, I appreciate that. I like the extra space. But I appreciate that people would. I would hope that in the future that sick people would wear masks, simply because they should not be spreading their sneezing, all over. I will be more than happy to wear a mask if I'm sick and if I have to go out for some reason. But I don't think everyone everywhere should have to wear a mask all the time, and not our kids. I really do believe it's psychologically abusive to our children to have them following these guidelines in school. Wearing a mask all day, standing 6 feet apart, not being allowed to have close contact with anybody. That's not how humans have evolved to grow and to learn. It's not much better than distance learning. In fact, I think it might be worse. In the long term, it's psychologically worse, but it's definitely, from an educational standpoint, I don't think it's really any better quality yet. Hopefully that will change. I would love to see us go back to normal once the teachers all have their magic. Pew, pew. I think they are up. Group 1B in Pennsylvania is now allowed to go get their shots. Tell you one line you won't be seeing me standing in. Actually, that would be a good place to go and hand out flyers. But anyway, yeah. So I did want to talk about the royal family. Kamala Harris is really like a hag, man. We got to watch out for her. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. And I'm really curious who she would pick for vice president. That's what I want to know. If you made it this far into the video, That's my question. Who do you think she would pick as a vice president? I have my theories, and I have heard some things. I don't believe it would be HRC. That to me is even a little too obvious. Now, I think if they go that route, that really is a giant middle finger to all of us, and it's really time for la revolution, right? I don't know. Anyway, I felt like it was time to stand up about 11 and a half months ago, but that's just me. We've killed small and medium-sized businesses. We have made the mega rich richer. We have made the third world nations destitute, food shortage, killing millions and millions because of these lockdowns. These lockdowns were to prevent the spread of a pathogen with a 99.9% survival rate if you are not obese and if you are under the age of 70. So I don't know. Guess it was worth it? You let me know what you think. If there are any other folks you would like to see a little bit of an excerpt from, I got Bernie Sanders. I got the Joe Biden with the real Joe Biden. Please stand up. Oh, I know him. I can't think of his name. Oh, is that girl from the Midwest? Yeah. Oh, I know her. What's her name? Elizabeth Warren. Amy Klobuchar? Amy Klobuchar. Something, gosh, I think. Last name. I'm going to go ahead and look in here because I do not want to pronounce anybody's name wrong or not give them the credit they deserve for this cover here. So the chapters, the crannied wall, number 1, 2, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Cory Booker. Is that Cory Booker? No. Oh, okay. All right. I was looking at it on the screen. Maybe that's what happened. Anyway, so yeah, and Amy Klobuchar. All right, well, at least I got her right. Also, Eric Garcetti, who I think is in New York. No. Garcetti, I think, is in LA. Oh, wow. And look at this. Holy smokes. Okay, so here's something I do want to show you. So the book is 252 pages. But then after that, this is the reference. So in case you doubt any of the veracity of these claims, you can go ahead and pick which one you don't believe and go ahead and research it for yourself. We're still going here. We have, oh, look, good. The page numbers are, okay, well, that's like an index. We're not going to count that as a reference. 342. So this is over 352. And then we have 90 pages of references in between and an index in the back. So anything you'd like to review or look up, please let me know. Please thumbs up this video. It helps to feed the algorithm monster. Thank you so much, guys. I hope everybody has a great day. It's beautiful here in Philadelphia. It's not always sunny in Philadelphia, but today it is sunny and 71 degrees. We're going to be going out for a bike ride. I'm going to try to post a picture later if I can. Reach out to me anytime with any questions, any topics, any ideas, or if you are local to the Philadelphia area and would like to meet up for a tea and chat. Let me know. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.